Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nirmal. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Mr. Atul Lall, MT at Dixon Technologies, joining in. Atul, welcome to the show. My first question coming to you is, I think it's enough spoken as to what has been the negative impact of COVID. All of us have already seen it, in all genres, in all industries. But from here on, what according to you should be the revival plan for the economy, for industries across?
So am of a firm belief and conviction that the trend that had started in India, that the electronic goods being sold in India would be manufactured in India. My conviction is that that pace is of course going to get significantly accelerated. So that's a very huge positive for the country. Taking it further is a huge positive for job generation. It's a huge positive for making India over a period of time in certain categories. I think mobile with the PLI scheme, the government of India, in LED lighting, and in a couple of years, even washing machines and air conditioners, India would become a significant manufacturing hub for servicing the global market. So that's my firm belief. When I look at the micro level from Dixon's perspective, what I'm finding very interesting is that with the new standard operating procedures, with the new norms of safety being brought in for our people, it's becoming a better way of working. To my surprise, I'm finding the productivity levels increasing, the safety and the hygiene levels increasing. We are becoming more frugal, which again is a very positive way of looking at manufacturing. And we're looking at cost-effective automation. We're looking at much better management of current assets. We're looking at much better focus on the cash flows. So these are some very significant learnings from this huge challenge of pandemic. And I think it's going to have a positive impact on most of the companies, industries, all the more in electronics. In
Right.
Dixon, we are learning a lot.
Right. And with this, Atul, I think another factor that we need to look at from an India perspective right now is that India has always been known as the back office hub. And now there is a possibility that if we really work hard towards it, do you think there is a slight chance where we could start, if not replacing China, but at least supplementing China right now with regards to where the manufacturing hub goes?
Oh, definitely. To use a more boisterous term, I would say this is a Y2K movement for the Indian electronics manufacturing. Undoubtedly. Because please appreciate, over a period of time, we in India have acquired a skill set for electronics manufacturing, frugal electronics manufacturing. Another very significant plus for India is that we have a large domestic demand. No other country apart from China has this kind of a large domestic demand, had this kind of a demographic advantage. We have this skill set as far as the hardware manufacturing is concerned, in polymers, in metals. We understand silicon, we understand optics, we understand thermals, we understand voltage management. We understand frugal way of manufacturing electronics product. So I am of a firm belief that India would significantly acquire the capabilities of becoming a hub for mobile exports. And also thanks very much to the government of India's policy initiatives. The latest initiatives of production and incentive scheme would definitely create an ecosystem for mobiles. We have now around the corner some more PLIs being announced in electronic manufacturing. They've announced the specs for components. So I think this is a Y2K movement for the electronics manufacturing industry in India. I hope that we as entrepreneurs and professionals take full advantage of it. Give it a major push. And I think we'll be there. It's going to take time, but we'll be there. It's going to be something like auto components. It's going to be something like even what has happened on the ITS sides. It's going to be similar.
Right. And I think, for a country like India, I think we've seen the best of the reforms that have come out during times of crisis, and they have really worked. So probably this could be a great opportunity that all of us could look into as well. With regards to the impact of COVID, although we looked at the last 10 days of business operations that were impacted in March, and we already have accounted for it in the fourth quarter of FY20. However, if you have to see Q1 FY21 as a quarter, or even for that matter, the first half of say FY21 as as a portion, do you think there is still going to be a major impact of COVID, or do you think FY21, at least with the kind of order books you have been receiving, all of that will be negated?
So we went into the lockout mode somewhere around 20th of March. The first last 10 days of March were completely wiped out. And we started opening our factories in Dixon between May 3rd to May 18th.
Correct.
So we had 40-45% of our normal revenues in May. And in June, we have had around 80% of our normal revenues. But in the current quarter, in Q2, we are almost at 90-95%. So we are back to normal. And in Dixon's case, we are adding some new verticals. So we got into the domain of medical electronics. We are expanding our mobile capacity. We acquired new customers. So I feel fairly positive. Until unless we have a second wave or there's an absolute downside and this pent-up demand recovery, which is being reflected in the numbers nowadays, it completely goes down. Otherwise, I feel that the balance 3 quarters for the industry, and so is the case for Dixon, are going to be fine. Now, on an overall basis, I don't think there'll be a growth this year because first 45 days have been completely wiped out. So we will be somewhere near to what we did last year. That's what I feel, or a small degrowth. That's what I feel.
Right. And with this, so are we saying that in terms of capacity utilization, we are almost at 90 to 95% at all the 9 factories?
So Hiral, in our TV factories, we are at 90 to 100%. In our security surveillance factory, where the order book is small, only now I'm seeing the order book getting some traction. So that factory we are loading with our medical electronics vertical because our lines are fungible, and also with the hybrid set-top boxes for fiber connectivity. So this is going to be almost normal in this current quarter. Mobile factories are almost 90%, possibly even 100%. A washing machine from this month is back to 90-100%. Lighting, not because of the demand, but because of the production constraints, we have to change the line and all that kind of thing. We're at 60, 65, 70%. But I think by August, September, that will also be at 85, 90%. So that's the way we are.
Right. And with this, another thing is with regards to the manufacturing of set-top boxes, which is a new line of business that you've undertaken. It seems to be a fairly small investment. The revenue expectation is almost around 100 to 150 crores in fiscal 2021. However, how do you see that segment of business ramping up over the next 2 to 3 years?
So in Dixon's case, one advantage and one of our moats is that we have a very high asset to turnover ratio. And second, our lines are flexible, they're fungible. That's the reason the capex allocation or the capital allocation is kind of on the lower side. That's the way we want to sustain the business. And that's the reason our return ratios are 30% line. So we see a very big opportunity in set-top boxes. This is a vertical which we've recently started gearing up. The present order book is extremely strong. We have acquired some new customers. And we are in discussion with some very large global players for this. we are fairly hopeful that we're going to be acquire some more large customers. So present order book is in the range of around 100-150K per month, which would generate for us a turnover of around 150 to 200 crores. But I think 21-22 can be a game changer. This 200 crores can become 800 to 1000 crores also. That's the kind of visibility I'm having.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know why the math fits in, especially with regards to Reliance Jio, is because wherever they've been selling their the fiber, the optic fiber, in terms of where the internet goes, they are providing the customers with a free set-top box for the television as well for the first 3 months. So automatically, because of the speed and everything, the moment the internet is getting consumed, they are simultaneously selling one set-top box each, though might be 3 months free of cost, but it actually gives you that hang to start using it, and then you start ordering it for the other places as well. So that's a brilliant strategy that Geo is also utilizing right now. Like, for example, I just bought one internet connection, which I got a Geo set-top, I mean the set-top box free of cost. And because I like the service, for my other room, I'm already ordering for the set-top box already again.
Yeah,
So
we also feel the same way.
exactly. So I think that's going to be a brilliant strategy that's going to be working around. And Atul, with regards to where the medical equipment manufacturing is concerned, how much is the kind of revenue you're foreseeing for FY21? Because I do understand you've already seen an order worth 30 crores and commercial production for which is going to start in August 2020. So will that be it for FY21, or are we expecting something more?
So this is what we're going to manufacture in medical devices is RT-PCR testing device for COVID-19 virus. We get into commercial production in August, September. So the demand is quite a bit, and demand is extremely good. I don't want to make any huge projections.
Correct.
Because I think first Dixon has to learn medical electronics manufacturing. We have to acquire the skill set for handling the medical grade materials. The factories are getting approved for ISO 13485, which is required for manufacturing medical devices. The teams are confident. It will be difficult to give a number, but order is not a constraint. I feel that if we execute the first order of 1,000 machines pretty well, there will be many repeat orders. So the business can be even in the range of 75 to 100 crores this fiscal.
Right. Okay. And with this, if you talk about the capex as well, it's almost around 120 crores for FY21, where majority of it actually is getting utilized towards the fully automatic top load washing machine. Now, for that plant, what's the kind of revenue expectation you have, number one? And in terms of the LED TV and the lighting plant as well, you are looking to implement automation on that front. So with regards to the implementation in terms of automation, what's the kind of cost save are we looking at?
So responding to your first question on FATL, that factory setup in our Tirupati campus is on. We are hopeful of getting the factory ready by Q3 of this fiscal. We plan to start the trials of the production in this by December. But actually, this is for fully automatic top loading. And the product approvals, we are launching almost 30 models, right? From 6 kg to 10 kg platform and washing machine. It's one of the largest product portfolios. So the product approvals from the customer side is a slightly time consuming process. We feel that it's going to take a couple of quarters for the product approvals, technical approvals to take place. But finally, in this vertical, we expect a revenue to be in the range of around 450 to 500 crores. That's the plan there. And also in this campus, we're going to be expanding our capacity for semi-automatic washing machines by almost 0.3 million. So this particular campus would give us around 700 to 800 crores of revenues in washing machine in next couple of years. That's what the target is. Responding to your second question on the capacity expansion and automation, in television. So capacity expansion from 3.6 to 4.4 million is already on, and it will be completed by August of this year. And the order book is very healthy. And also, as a part of this capex, we are automating our lines, so that will improve our productivity by almost 15 to 20%. Similarly, in lighting, we have committed a capex of almost 18 to 20 crores for automating our lines. The first set of machines have already arrived, and they are in the process of installation in a Dehradun plant, which will, I think, be completed by August, September this fiscal. The first cut calculations are that our present productivity of around 33, 34 per man hour on LED bulb side would improve to almost 48.
Right. And with this, Atul, with the kind of expansion that we are going to see, with the kind of demand, at least for the timing, we could call it pent-up demand. But over the next couple of years, the moment manufacturing starts moving, within India, you are going to see capacity expansion that will be taking place, like for a company like yours. What do you think would be the investments you would be looking at over the next 3 years?
So I can see that trend, as I shared with you earlier, that more and more electronics manufacturing will take place. And also there is a trend that more and more brands, large brands, are looking at outsourcing as the way forward. They're going to be focusing in-house on branding and distribution, outsourcing for manufacturing and also for design is going to happen. So that way Dixon is in a sweet spot. Now from Dixon side, our capital allocations have been very well thought out. We think umpteen number of times. We look at the return ratio. We have a hurdle rate of 30% on ROCE before making an investment. However, we are setting on large opportunities. Normally in a year, we do around 80 to 90 crores of capex. I think with this PLI opportunity coming in, this capex is going to go up by another 50 to 70 crores a year. That's what we foresee. So I think it's going to be in the range of around 130 to 150 crores a year. That's the number I have in mind.
And with this, when you spoke about the ROCE as well, that's pretty interesting for a Dixon. And it actually probably would attract a lot of players to enter the industry as well, seeing the way Dixon has been performing. So what, according to you, could be the entry barriers for new entrants coming into the contract manufacturing space and the electronic space?
So I think it's multiple factors. I think the first thing that we have in Dixon is the obsession with the customer. That may be a softer point, but that's the key. The whole team, in a very focused way, is always endeavoring to create value for the customer. Whether it's on the design side, whereas, or possibly on the cost side, we keep sharing whatever we create through innovation on the new product side. So first, of course, is customer obsession. The second most important thing that we have is the scale. So if you see, let's say LED bulbs, we have a capacity of almost 220 to 250 million bulbs a month, which is more than 45 to 50% of the Indian requirement. So once you have that kind of a scale, you generate an operating leverage. The second, for example, LED televisions, we will now have a capacity of 4.4 million. The Indian requirement is around 15, 16 million. So that's almost 28% of the Indian requirement. So that helps us in generating the operating leverage. And I think for anybody to catch up is going to take time. And the third is that we keep on migrating to our own design capabilities. So for example, in washing machine, we have more than 170 models of our own. In lighting, on the bulb side itself, we'll have more than 2,000 SKUs. So migration and acquiring the skill set on design side is an extremely important element to have a moat for us. Also, very important is that we keep on getting into new verticals. with the same core. So we started only as a television manufacturer. We got into lighting, we got into washing machines, we got into mobile phones, we got into security surveillance systems, we got into medical electronics, and now we are in set-top boxes. So and if you see, the core is the same. The fungibility of assets is there, the flexibility is there. So the same skill set team is able to extend the capabilities to various other verticals. So that also helps in de-risking the business. That also helps in acquiring a new set of customers. So I think these are the elements which we keep and trying to build on. And I think the biggest strength in Dixon is the team. Our young engineers, our supply chain guys, our manufacturing guys. That's the biggest strength.
Right. As you mentioned about supply chain also, Atul, any concerns on the supply chain front right now during the lockdown, which has eased, or still you see there are troubles on that front?
So January, February, the pandemic hit China, and we have dependence on China. So we were initially impacted, but that got normalized. And then we had this lockdown in India. So again, there was a problem. So right from February to April, May, it was a bit of a problem. But then imports are now normalized from China and from other countries. And so supply chain issues are there because there have been delays in clearances at the ports. Supply chain issues have been there at the local vendor level because there have been on and off lockdowns. There have been transportation issues. Those kind of things are there, but it's coming back to normal. I mean, I think last week I've seen that I've not seen my people really complaining now that availability of raw material and components is a challenge. It's getting normalized.
Right. So why not look at backward integration even on the raw material component side of what we are importing?
So one, we have a roadmap of reducing our dependence on imports very, very significantly. So if you look at LED lighting, we used to be importing almost 70% content. Today, that import content has come down to 30-35%. And I'm very sure that in a year and a half, that import content would be barely 15-20%. Similarly, in washing machine, our import content, which used to be very high, is down to around 45-50% now. And we are now localizing motors, timers, gearboxes, clutches, PCBAs. So I'm very sure the local content in India in washing machine is also going to be as low, is as high as 90%, 85-90%. So that's a very, very important plan that we have to execute. Now question arises that out of this local content, how much is going to be done in-house? So that is to be aligned with the skill set that we have. Wherever we have the skill set, for example, in metals, we have a skill set. Optics, we have a skill set. Voltage management, we have a skill set. Polymers, we have a skill set. So we evaluate that in-house, but we need a hurdle rate of 30% return. So if it's falling into the 30% return hurdle rate, more than that, then we're going to look at it in-house. And the payback has to be within 18 to 24 months. Right. Otherwise, it's going to be a bought-out components, however, locally.
Right. And does this make a difference, Atul, with regards to the cost side of it when you're importing from China versus what you're procuring locally?
So every cent, every penny counts.
Correct.
So localization, initially you might pay some small premium, but finally we need a very clear visibility that the costs are going to be absolutely optimized. Will you please appreciate that we are not a brand owner. We are subservient to a brand.
Absolutely.
And we have to be extremely, extremely cost effective.
Correct. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you that, because, I think every industry faces that concern that with regards to raw materials from the medical side, or even if you talk about pharmaceutical, healthcare, auto, the reason why someone has resorted to importing, raw material from China is the cost advantage as well. Now, how long we take to get to those kind of costs that China provides us is something that we need to really work on. And absolutely agree on that front. But if we do you think that we will be able to match China as well with regards to the costing front of components?
So every crisis throws up a big opportunity, and I've been myself spearheading this plan along with our team members, and I'm very confident that in medium term, and it's not long, it's within 8 to 10 months, the Indian vendor ecosystem would be able to match the imported cost.
Wow.
I'm very confident about it. Yeah. Initially, I was not. I was very apprehensive. But the deeper the discussions that are happening, and we are bringing all the stakeholders on the table, even the secondary vendors to our vendor, when they're coming onto the table and discussing, I'm getting a very, very positive feeling, an intuition in my gut that is going to happen, and we're going to match the cost. Till now, it was an easier way out. One was not deep diving into it. The ecosystem was there in China, and we were looking at it more and more and more. People were not scratching their brains; they're not making an extra effort. So again, I say this crisis has thrown a big opportunity, and I'm very confident that within 8 to 10 months, many of our vendors, the local vendors, are going to meet the same qualifying terms of pricing and quality and delivery. It will happen.
Absolutely, and I think you're marking 2020, and if you see the next 5 years, I think it's going to be a complete game changer if we make the best of the opportunities that have come our way right now. Probably in the worst of the ways, in the worst of the fashions, but if we make use of this opportunity in all sectors, in all areas, I think we could be growing spectacular. So, with this, lastly, Atul, from a 5 year perspective, taking all the demand, all the opportunities that could be coming into Dixon's way right now, what is the kind of vision that you have on from the 5th year from now that, okay, this is where I'm going to see Dixon in terms of the top line or in terms of the growth rate?
So as far as the financial numbers are concerned, I think Dixon will keep growing at 20-25% CAGR. If we are able to get the approvals from the government of India for PLI for mobile, I think we're going to be a very large player for mobile. So that's going to be even beyond this 25%.
Okay.
So I don't want to give any specific numbers, but this is the indicative thing which I feel very confident about. I feel Dixon would be a very transparent, honest player, committed to this country, committed to all the stakeholders, whether it's our investors, shareholders, bankers, people, vendor ecosystem. We want to be a kind of a role model for the industry to take this industry forward, both for the domestic market and global markets.
Right, I'm sure, and I think that's what the path seems like with the kind of numbers that keep coming out and the kind of encouragement that we see from investors as well. But good luck, Atul. Thank you so much for joining in. Great insights, and hope to chat with you soon as well with regards to what the progress looks like for all of us from here on. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much, Hiral. It was very nice. Thank you so much.